It's with Ken Rosato. It is Monday, May 11th, 2026. Yeah, we're in the middle of May. What? I thought we just started May. It was like yesterday. Now we're in the middle. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234 to kick things off. Meteorologist Mike Favetta. As a forecast near you, and we say, Mike, your wife had a really big Mother's Day yesterday.
Yeah, had a wonderful Mother's Day. Had some time. I know. Two boys, three if you count the dog, and well, if you count me, yeah,
Or you.
sometimes I say a child, right? But with all of the sunny weather that was forecast yesterday, Ken, we enjoyed a spectacular weekend. Saturday, a little, right? We had the rain that came through. Not exactly outdoor weather, but I think yesterday made up for it. And it was good for moms all across New Jersey. Today, also featuring loads of sun after a couple sprinkles came through last night. So it's nice when the rain times itself out and provides us a gentle shower through the overnight hours. Now we start to clear things out again. There's still a healthy dose of clouds around this morning. You can see them here from north to south, giving us some wet weather early this morning, especially across southern New Jersey. But by this afternoon, everywhere north of, say, north and west of the Turnpike will be dry. There are some showers and clouds south and east of that, especially at the shore with this system that sits offshore. So depending on your location today, you'll see either sun or some rain. Now, by later on in the overnight, northern New Jersey taps into some light rain, but that all clears out for a gorgeous day tomorrow. Lots of sunshine, clear sky all afternoon, and stays sunny and dry throughout even Wednesday. Wednesday morning could have a few lingering sprinkles across northern New Jersey, but it's the rain for Wednesday night into Thursday that ultimately gives us some more rain showers. Here's all the wet weather back off to the south and west. That's what's headed toward New Jersey by tonight into tomorrow. And you can even see the longer range forecast heading into the weekend. I think with Wednesday afternoon and night being our rainiest, there's a couple sprinkles and clouds on the way for Friday, but Saturday should be a little gray. And then Sunday also has the chance for a few spot showers. So keeping an eye on some of that wet weather as we head into the weekend. We have a couple sunny days ahead, but there's also some, again, days of rain. Those details coming up, Ken, in just a few minutes.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. It is 56 degrees northern New Jersey, 50 in Trenton, 62 degrees in Los Angeles, 64 now in San Diego. We check traffic quickly. Let's go to Route 1. We have a crash on northbound Alexander Road, West Windsor Township. Left lane is closed. Over to Route 22. This we do have a camera shot of. There's a crash investigation, 22, both directions west of Somerset Avenue, Watchung Avenue, North Plainfield. Look at the absolute bumper to bumper mess this has caused. It just says the left lane is closed eastbound, but all lanes closed westbound. So we're looking at westbound right now, and this is a nightmare. So let's say it again. This is a crash investigation, Route 22, both directions, west of Somerset Avenue, Watchung Avenue, North Plainfield. Left lane closed eastbound, all lanes closed westbound. Absolute mess. They're going to be detouring people on the opposite lane to get around. Over to Route 71, we have a utility pulled down at both directions south of Roosevelt Avenue. That's way down in Deal. All lanes are closed on that. New Jersey Turnpike, we have a vehicle off the roadway by the New Jersey Turnpike ramp to northbound Garden State from Interchange 11 and Woodbridge. All lanes open, but that's causing, as you can imagine, a mess of delays through there. Right now, the approaches to the Hudson River, the Lincoln Tunnel approach, only going to cost you about 20 to 25. Holland Tunnel is already 30, and that's on Route 139 in from the Turnpike to the Holland Tunnel. Let's go over to the GWB. Upper and lower levels are heavy but moving. It's about 40 minutes in. You can see this guy. Don't do that. Do not use the shoulder. You will get a ticket. You could hurt somebody or yourself. That's usually not a good thing to do. But nonetheless, that is going to cost you about 35 to 40 minutes in. Over to the West Coast, couple of things to tell you about. We have a collision in central LA on the 101 at Glendale Boulevard off ramp. There's a hit and run with no injuries in East LA at on Gage Avenue. And then we have a traffic collision with minor injuries, Santa Fe Springs on the 605 by the Carson Street off ramp. It is 5 minutes past the hour. Some shocking audio captured the moments when pilots aboard Frontier Airlines Flight 4345 struck an individual who ran onto the runway and in front of the speeding jet as it was powering up to take off. The person was killed after being sucked into one of the jets, causing an engine fire and aborting the takeoff. This happening on Friday night in Denver. The unidentified person had jumped the perimeter fence and was crossing the runway when struck by the moving plane just past 11 p.m. local time. Passengers had to be evacuated down the emergency chutes for fear that the engine fire could spread. The deceased was only described as a trespasser. The perimeter fence was not cut, so it appears the person jumped the 8 foot tall barbed wire fence. Officials are trying to identify the victim and they're investigating to see what this individual's motive was. Los Angeles mayoral candidate Spencer Pratt showed a disturbing image of the city rather in a recent campaign video that points out what it's like to live in LA today with over 40,000 drug addicts wandering the streets. The clip features video of an LA block as it slowly zooms in on a homeless person and scattered garbage. Pratt's latest appeal to voters appeared to have an impact. His recent surge in popularity comes after a mayoral debate last week that viewers saw as a total win for the former reality TV star. During the debate, he confronted his liberal competitors who have said the homeless just need someone to offer them treatment.
The reality is, no matter how many beds you give these people, they are on super meth. They are on fentanyl. The DEA statistic says 93% of this is a drug addiction problem. Nithya, Councilwoman Robbins' plan for treatment first, I will go below the Harbor Freeway tomorrow with her, and we can find some of these people she's going to offer treatment for. She's going to get stabbed in the neck. These people do not want a bed. They want fentanyl or super meth.
Well, the independent candidate Pratt has drawn praise as a serious candidate from powerful politicians on both sides of the aisle. Up to San Francisco now, and drug use is so tolerant in that city that a shop in the downtown district has been accused of openly selling crystal meth and drug paraphernalia. The allegation is people walk right in and say, "Can I have 2 grams of meth?" and they get it. After months of complaints, the city filed a lawsuit against the owners of the convenience store. Why a lawsuit and not just break in and arrest them? Because the prosecutor in San Francisco is so lenient about things relating to drugs and other crimes that when you tell him about it, he goes, eh. Literally, that's what they've accepted now in that part of California. You want to sell drugs openly? No, it's not eh. There are laws, sir. Follow the law. So now they've launched a lawsuit. That's all they could do. A lawsuit against the owners of the convenience store, citing the sale of methamphetamine and marijuana. Locals complain the property has attracted criminal activity to the area for years. In the last 2 years alone, San Francisco police responded to more than a dozen calls for vandalism, theft, and fights in and around that shop. During a recent raid, police seized nearly 50 grams of methamphetamine. Usually, just to give you an idea, not that I'm a drug addict, but because I'm not, but because I watch Breaking Bad. Literally 1/10 of a gram of methamphetamine is enough to make somebody stoned out of their gourd for a day or two. So imagine 50 grams. 50 grams, that's like 500 people's worth of meth. 5 pounds of marijuana and a ghost gun, too, got seized. Residents say the shop is one of dozens around the city selling illegal drugs. Dozens. Even if San Francisco wins the lawsuit, or I should say, yes, if they win the lawsuit. And notice I said if, because judges there are so far to the left that many just go, like the prosecutor. The shop will probably still remain open. Officials have asked the judge to order it shut down, but so far the judges there have all said, you got it. The Pentagon on Friday began releasing never before seen files relating to unidentified anomalous phenomena, previously known as UFOs, that the government had been holding on to for decades, saying, oh, we can't tell you about it. Now they've released it. The files have been a source of intrigue for generations of people wondering if we are alone in the universe. The release came nearly a month after President Trump gave a preview of the possible contents, telling a gathering that some very interesting documents would be released by the Department of Defense. Since the release on Friday, the website received more than 300 million hits. If you'd like to check out the files for yourself and be 300 million and one, go to war.gov/UFO. Interesting. Well, how was your Mother's Day and how much did you spend? Seems Mother's Day expenses can pile up fast. Prices for one of the most popular gifts, flowers, starting to soar. A rose picked in Ecuador is flown to Miami by cargo plane, then distributed via refrigerated trucks to wholesalers or grocery stores across the U.S. By the time you gave those roses to Mom yesterday, they were probably about 3 weeks old, by the way. But this season, higher fuel prices are impacting prices on flowers flown in from Central and South America and delivered by truck across the country. Indoor plant and flower prices rose 7.5% year over year as of March, outpacing the 3.3% rise in overall inflation. More than 80% of cut flowers in the U.S. are imported from abroad, with the majority coming from Colombia and Ecuador. Well, New Jersey is about to be the focus of the world. The FIFA World Cup 26 New York, New Jersey host committee is asking cultural groups from throughout the region to perform at official fan events as the tournament draws in over 1 million tourists this summer from June 11th to July 19th. From music and dance to cultural showcases and community performances, the committee wants performers who reflect everything that makes our region special. The application deadline is today at noon. So if you have an act you want to perform, get paid a little bit of money, go to the official website, New York, New Jersey, FIFA World Cup 26. So it's NYNJFWC26.com. And you could find a link there and apply. Hopefully, you'll be one of the performers. And New Jersey Attorney General Jennifer Davenport announced the recipients of the 2026 Excellence in Policing Awards. It's meant to recognize law enforcement officers from throughout the state for exceptional service. The Detective Joseph Seals Valor Award was given to New Jersey State Police Bridgeton Station troopers for their response to a young man in Deerfield Township who tried to take his own life. Not only did they stop him from harming himself, they got him medical attention, then they went above and beyond. They followed up with welfare checks weeks beyond, and they got him support services and even helped him look for a job. Now, they didn't have to do that. They did that out of the kindness of their own hearts. There were a number of other awards also given. The awards help show gratitude to officers who often do not get the best media coverage when they do their jobs. And yes, it's a thankless job in many cases. 13 minutes past the hour. When we return, many families are feeling the pressure of packed schedules this time of year. Did you know that acupuncture may be the answer? We'll have somebody on to tell you all about it. Plus, meteorologist Mike Favetta exhausted for taking care of the new mommy. Well, she's not a new mommy. She's a mommy for the second time in his life. We'll tell you all about that too with the forecast, and we'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato, now live on the East Coast and the West Coast. Don't go away. We're coming back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. It is Monday. Yeah, the weekend just flew by. We are live in New Jersey and New York, and now we welcome our friends in Los Angeles. It is 15 minutes past the hour. We'll take calls at 888-658-0234. We welcome in meteorologist Mike Favetta with the forecast near you. And Mike, you're the scientist on the set, obviously, but I don't know if you heard that there was that whole scare with that cruise ship and the hantavirus, or the
Hmm.
huntavirus, they have been pronouncing. So word is now this morning that the Americans, early this morning in the last 6 hours, arrived on U.S. soil. At least one or two have been diagnosed as having the virus, but only one tested positive with very, very minor symptoms. Just want to calm everybody's nerves. Even though this is the one strain of hantavirus that has one time in history passed from human to human, it is very rare that that happens. I think it was literally only one case of human to human transmission in the history
Oh,
of the
wow.
planet. Otherwise, it only passes from rodents to humans. You have to come into contact. So let's just give a heads up to people. It's springtime. If people clean out the garage and stuff.
Sure.
Sometimes in the cold weather, rodents, rats, and mice will hide out behind boxes or food sources and they'll pee and poop. Sorry to be gross, but they do that. If you are cleaning out the garage, it's probably a good idea to wear a mask. You can get the N50. We know the N95s you can get everywhere, right? And wear gloves. And then before you take off the mask, throw out the gloves, throw out the mask, and then take a shower afterward, just in case. But the chances of anybody catching this thing are so minuscule, we don't want people panicking. Just want to make that amply clear that there's no reason to panic. The person with the mild symptoms, it's going to be like bad cold, and they'll be fine in a few weeks. Only if you are really immunocompromised can this become something. So I just want to try to alleviate any of the stress, because a lot of people
Yeah.
online are freaking out like this is the end of the world all over again. No, I know we're all coronavirus crazed. I know, and we had reason to be, but this is not that. This is one ship. It's isolated. Everybody was, I don't know if you saw them. They were taken in all dressed up in the antiviral suits and
You know what
everything
I
else. So
did see,
anyway.
Ken? I did see a lot of people a lot of influencers made very interesting content, more so on the comedy side of like, oh no, are we entering another pandemic? But yeah, it's nice to quell the fear that it
Right.
shouldn't be too bad. And then
Yet if
again,
you're
we did say
seriously
this.
cleaning out the
Yeah,
garage and stuff, you really should always have done that. Should always, not just because of this. We should always
right.
wear like some kind of mask. You're getting
Or if your
behind things you
significant
never know.
other holds it over your head saying time to clean out the garage, for 6 months straight. So that too. That too.
Then there's that.
So you just get the itch. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a great day, maybe to clean out the garage, right? Do some outdoor work, even after the rain that came on Saturday. This week, we're starting off a little bit with the clear sky and stay dry throughout the day tomorrow. A little bit more wet weather works across southern New Jersey today as that system slides offshore. Then by Wednesday, we get another round of rain, works its way into the East Coast, but that rain that's really needed down south, and I'll talk more about why in just a bit. There's plenty of wet weather moving across the middle of the country by Wednesday. All of these dry days, however, really seeing that pollen skyrocket back up to the high level today for trees, just at the moderate for weeds, but still grasses at the high level thanks to all of that warm weather. So, down in Florida, you may have seen some of the images out of, say, western sections of Broward County, where in Weston, the sky lit up in orange, big wildfires over in the Everglades, and now the smoke is drifting over toward the coast there from Fort Lauderdale down through Miami. This darker shade here showing how thick that smoke is. So the rain that comes through South Florida later on this week really helping well, let me go back. Really helping that at least get a little bit better as we head into the rest of this week. You can see most of that concentrated just to the north, but eventually working its way south with front after front because those wildfires continue to rage there in South Florida. Out to the west coast, kind of hit all the channels this morning, bringing back the clear sky, lots of sunshine expected up and down the west coast, and our forecast for you coming up, Ken, in just a few minutes.
And for those who are not paying attention, they say, what's he talking about all the channels? We are now live in Florida as well. So we have
Mm-hmm.
on New Jersey, which covers New Jersey, New York, Connecticut. We have on LACA, I had to think about it. I'm getting old, Mike, and that is covering the state of California. And of course, now we have on FLA. So we welcome our good folks in the state of Florida. Thank you, Mike. Always good to have you back. Not that you haven't been back, but I like to say that. It is 52 degrees right now, northern New Jersey, Sarah. It is 50 in Trenton. Over to the West Coast, 60 now in Los Angeles, 62 in San Diego. In terms of traffic, we have a mess here on Route 22. Let's go to this. This is on Watchung, or Route 22 at Watchung Avenue in North Plainfield. Left lane is closed. Eastbound, all lanes closed westbound because of a crash investigation, a serious earlier crash. And you can see what an absolute mess this is. So try to avoid that area in Plainfield, North Plainfield, if you can. Again, Route 22 impacted in both directions by Watchung Avenue. I know exactly where that is, not too far from like the Nutley area, because I used to live in that area. So I've taken that road. So try to avoid that if you can. It's one of the main drags, though. We have a vehicle off the roadway on the Turnpike ramp northbound Garden State Parkway from interchange 11 and Woodbridge. All lanes open, but tight there right now. We have a utility pole down Route 71, both directions south of Roosevelt Avenue down in Deal. All lanes are open. The Hudson River crossings, Lincoln and Holland, now both 25 minutes. In fact, let's look at the Holland Tunnel approach from 139. The Turnpike, it's heavy, but it is crawling. You can see those lanes moving slowly, but nonetheless, going to cost you 25 to 30 minutes in. GWB upper and lower levels, actually a little bit better. It's only about 30 minutes in. The upper level is going to be on the right side of your screen, lower on the left. And again, half an hour into Manhattan. To the West Coast we go. Just a couple of things to tell you about. Traffic collision, Antelope Valley on 165th Street at East Avenue. Also, we have a road collision, it says here, and this is in Santa Fe Springs on the 605 at Carson Street off ramp. And a crash just happened in Antelope Valley, East Avenue I and 90th Street East. 22 minutes after 7. A lot of families are feeling the pressure of packed schedules this time of year. In fact, because of finals and graduations and vacations and weddings, this month is often called Maycember, and it leaves a lot of people exhausted. Well, Dr. Amanda Occhipinti is a nationally board certified acupuncturist, clinic director of Integrated Health Center in Watchung, and acupuncturist for the New York Jets. We say good morning to you, Dr. Occhipinti. Good to have you on.
Thank you so much. Good morning to you, Ken.
Good morning. Why don't you tell everybody how acupuncture works? And just full disclosure, been a patient and love it myself, but tell everybody how it works.
The basic concept of acupuncture is derived from, we've heard the terms yin and yang, correct? And so now we can kind of conceptualize yin and yang as your nervous system. The fight or flight is the yang and the rest and digest is the yin. So when you come for acupuncture, you're coming for a treatment that helps to modulate your nervous system response. So if you're in this chronic fight or flight, your body's going to have a hard time transitioning into that rest and digest or healing response. So the real foundation of what acupuncture can do is modulate your nervous system. And yes, we do that through using acupuncture needles.
I love it. I have a friend of mine who described it as your brain is a battery and your body is full of thousands of miles of nerves, tiny, tiny, fine nerves. And the energy is literally, I mean, I know in the ancient East, they talk about it as chi or ki, right? Or she, I guess is pronounced. But from a Western perspective, that those nerves could be, those wires could become kinked, basically, and the energy flow is off. Is that kind of a layman's way of talking about it?
Absolutely. What I like to tell patients is imagine your body is like one big circuit breaker, and all the circuits are the different nerves. And when you have different types of stressors, whether that's physical, mental, emotional, environmental, these circuits get tripped. And your body has this amazing job where it keeps the lights on because that's what it wants to do. It wants to keep us alive. But at some point, that stressor becomes too much or that trauma is too intense, the light starts to shut off. And what acupuncture does through using the acupuncture points, it helps to restore that communication within the body through using the meridian system, or you can call the nervous system.
And this time of year, I'm sure you're seeing a lot of people who are totally stressed out, graduations, proms, weddings, on and on it goes. And I love the term Maycember because that really does hit it. It's so true. Finals. This month is a tough month. So what kind of stresses are you seeing from patients right now?
During this time of year, a lot of patients will come in with their sleep being affected, feeling completely run down, neck and shoulder tension, headaches, or you just have this feeling like you're on and you can't shake it.
Yeah, and that must be very, very stressful for a lot of people who come in. But there is a way to treat that using acupuncture, right? So when you hit the meridian with the needles, and by the way, I've had it done dozens of times. Acupuncture is awesome. It saved my life literally in South Florida. I got off a plane at a 90-degree angle. I could not stand upright. And I remember trying to find a chiropractor, and the chiropractor said, "Well, you got to lay flat on your stomach for me to adjust you." And I said, "Well, I can't. I can't straighten out." I was in agony. And he said, "I want you to go to this acupuncturist." The acupuncturist was able to relieve enough pain over a course of like 4 or 5 days that I could then lay flat and get adjusted. That's how it works. So it's integrative holistic treatment. But that's what saved my life, or else I would have been hunched over 90 degrees for the whole time. So this, you would just hit the meridian. It doesn't hurt, by the way. It feels like this, by the way, people. That's it. That's how it feels. People go, it's the thickness of not even a hair, right?
First of all, Ken, I'm so glad that you had that experience and that you're sharing that with people, because people will come to me often and I'm like a last resort sometimes, because people just don't think about acupuncture as a first line defense for some things. And don't get me wrong, it's not for very acute emergency situation.
Right.
If your shoulder is not connected to your body, please go to the ER. Don't come to my office. But for
Right.
pain like you had, yes, like acupuncture can be thought of. So I'm so glad that we're having this conversation and we can tell people that it can be used for those types of conditions. And to your point, it's not my job to hurt anybody, nor any acupuncturist out there. We're in the business to heal. But because we do use needles, you can feel it. And yes, there are certain types of acupuncture that are a little bit more sensational than others, but the goal is not to make you feel more pain, it's to help your body heal. And they're very
When you
thin,
go
yes.
to when you go to a medical doctor, you may need to have a blood test. It's a second of a pinch too. So it's part of treatment, but you have to think about how you will feel afterward. That's what I always do. I always think, just go through this pinch. You're going to feel a million times better afterward. And
And
that's the
sometimes
way
you don't
I
even
was
feel
recommend.
it.
Right. Most of the time,
Sometimes you
actually, I 100%. 100%. And if you have not checked out an acupuncturist, I highly, highly recommend. I have relatives who've had headaches who have been treated by acupuncture, weight gain, and they went to acupuncture to help them control their cravings, smoke cessation. There's so much that acupuncturists can help with, because it's a different pathway, different treatment toward it. Doctor, give everybody a website so they could learn more and make an appointment to come see you.
My website is integratedhealthcenternj.com. I'm located in Watchung, New Jersey. You can book an appointment right online, or you can call the office, which is also listed on the website.
And she treats the Jets, which, by the way, give them as much treatment as you can give them, please. We love our Jets, but they need their treatment. God bless them. Nationally board certified acupuncturist, clinic director of Integrated Health Center in Watchung, acupuncturist for the New York Jets. We love them. We're just teasing. Dr. Amanda Okapinti, thank you so much for coming on. Please come back again.
Thank you so much, Ken. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You as well, Doctor. Thank you. 28 minutes past the hour. When we come back, Rutgers celebrating a remarkable group of graduates who've made a lasting impact in their fields. We're going to tell you about it. Phone lines open at 888-658-0234. And meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato. We're back in 2 minutes. very good morning. 30 minutes past the hour, Monday, May 11th, 2026. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato, live on the East Coast and the West. Meteorologist Mike Favetta comes on in here with the forecast near you. So, had a nice Mother's Day. That was a good thing because,
It
if you had pissed
was.
off all the moms, they would have. I actually was going to dox you and put your address online. So,
Oh
we appreciate
no.
that. Yeah, we appreciate that. That was a good day. So, what are we looking at today, Michele?
We have a beautiful afternoon, unless you're in southern New Jersey. I mean, hey, if you love puddle jumping, then it's a beautiful afternoon for you because there's some rain on the way. If you're south and east of the turnpike today, some wet weather moves in. But if you're way out west, you have a lovely afternoon ahead down there toward LA with plenty of sunshine expected throughout this afternoon. This little low pressure kind of meanders eastward, giving all of LA a little bit of a marine layer right through tomorrow afternoon, right along the coast, but inland you'll find nice sunny clear weather. Then a front sweeps through by the end of this week, clearing that area out and staying dry for the next several days. So little to no rainfall expected there, as well it just stays dry like you'd expect in LA. But again, you get some rain from time to time. Not the case today or even this week. Back out east, you can see some of those light showers early this morning exiting across southern New Jersey, and there could be some of that rain lingering into this afternoon as another round comes in later on today. You kind of see it working its way down across the southeast, and as that works its way eastward, it gives folks in, say, central and southern New Jersey some of that wet weather again later on today. Wednesday, our next opportunity for some rain all across New Jersey as another front pushes through, and then by Friday, it's just kind of a cloudy, cool finish to the week with some sprinkles around. Saturday should turn sunny, but we likely see some clouds again by Sunday, and then I think we're going to be a little bit wetter as we head into the first part of next week. So again, we'll finish out today dry. Tomorrow, beautiful sunshine all day long. Wednesday across New Jersey has all of that rain come in, especially by the afternoon, clearing by Thursday. But look what happens on Friday. This low kind of parks itself over Maine and keeps those clouds spinning around over New Jersey. We'll only be in the 50s by Friday afternoon, so it'll feel much cooler, but there's a warm-up on the way heading into Memorial Day weekend. That red is kind of creeping back into New Jersey, and that's some good news. We'll look forward to that, and we'll talk more about that coming up with your next weather update, Ken, in a few minutes.
Oh, Memorial Day weekend already here. So now that means
Already.
that the townhouse complex where we're leasing right now, let's see, based on last year, we'll have the pool open July 20th. That's great. It's like any place I've ever lived. When did we had this discussion? Usually Memorial
We
Day
did have
is the
this discussion.
demarcation point,
Memorial
right?
to
Where they
Labor Day.
open the
Yeah,
pool. And
yeah.
apparently they started opening the pool. They used to do it Memorial Day. Then they said a week later because kids were just getting out of school. And that, I think it's to save money with the lifeguard. There's no other reason why. We only have
Sure.
what is that? August 2nd. That's Pep. Pep says open the pool August 2nd so you can close it August 20th. But that's like what it is. Last year they didn't open the
Hmm.
pool till like almost July, and it was closed by the end of
Ah,
August. It's like why even open it?
terrible.
I don't know.
With
Should I
longer
stop my
summers, you can
kvetching?
open it now in April when we had those 90-degree days. It
Open it in
happens.
April and close it December, and I'll be swimming the
Done.
whole time. Done. All right, Mike. We'll check back, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. 56 degrees now, northern New Jersey, 50 degrees in Trenton. So we got a little warming more in the north than in the south, or central, I should say. That's really central. Vineland is 52. And down in Cape May, it's about, it says 52 as well in Cape May. Now we look at the West Coast. Los Angeles has 60 degrees and San Diego 61 degrees. Our traffic, we have an absolute mess on Route 22. This is because of a crash investigation. This is impacting Route 22, both directions, actually. Even though the left side doesn't look so bad, we'll explain why. So this is from a crash, an earlier very serious crash. Usually that means somebody's life was in jeopardy in one way or the other. So they have the westbound lanes are entirely closed. The eastbound has one left lane closed, and that's why you are seeing some traffic flowing on the eastbound side. That's what's coming toward you. The westbound side is closed. So they're detouring people off about a half a mile beyond that point. It's an absolute mess. So try to avoid Route 22 in North Plainfield at all costs if you can. Just got this in on Route 440. There is a crash southbound just north of New Brunswick Avenue, Perth Amboy. The right lane is closed there. Over to the New Jersey Turnpike, we got a mess. There's a crash on the Turnpike Western Spur northbound, north of interchange 18W. that's going to take you over to the GWB. So look at those folks trying to make their way over to the GWB, as if it's not usually heavy this time of the morning to the GWB there. 18W by I-80 exit in Carlstadt, right lane is blocked and causing that backup that you see there. We have a utility pull down Route 71 in Deal on Roosevelt Avenue, and the approaches to the Hudson River crossings. Let's take a look at the approach to the Holland Tunnel right now. This is 192, which will take you from the Turnpike to the Holland. It is bumper to bumper. Those center lanes are going to take you about 35 minutes into Manhattan. It's only about 30 in via the Lincoln. GWB is actually your better bet versus the Holland, at least. And it's only going to cost you 25 to 30 upper level on the right, lower on the left. You can see it's heavy, but it is moving. And just a couple of things on the West Coast to tell you about. We got a couple of crashes. One is in Antelope Valley on Route 14 at Crown Valley Road. There's a collision in Baldwin Park on the 10 at Indian Hill Boulevard off-ramp. And a crash that just happened, another one in Antelope Valley, 165th Street at East Avenue. Just to be aware of that. It is 37 minutes past the hour. Rutgers University celebrating a remarkable group of graduates who made a lasting impact in their respective fields. Among the newest inductees into the Rutgers Hall of Distinguished Alumni is Creighton Drury, a former Rutgers men's basketball co-captain who spent decades helping young people overcome challenges. Drury now serves as CEO of Partnership to End Addiction. We welcome you, Creighton. Good to have you on.
Good morning, Ken. How are you?
Doing great, thank you, and congratulations on the achievement. What was it like being inducted into the Rutgers Hall of Distinguished Alumni? That's really a very special thing.
It really was. I have to say, it was, the most meaningful recognition in my career for sure, and for a lot of reasons, but mostly because of what Rutgers has meant to me. My 4 years there, but I think combined with just having a close connection throughout the years. And knowing so many people in the Rutgers community, it was really very meaningful. And the team at Rutgers, what a fantastic job they did. And it was a special honor to be inducted with my fellow honorees who are doing incredible work across the state.
Now, you were a great student athlete yourself. How did that help shape the path that you are on today?
It was formative in so many ways. I think about my experience growing up, playing high school in New Jersey, but also at Rutgers, which was a great honor. It was that, I think more than anything, that sense of a group of people coming together toward a goal. And at Rutgers, in my 4 years there, we won 2 championships. We won our conference twice. But what I remember the most was how we came together as a team. Things like team chemistry, the things the coaches would say to us and support us, and how they encouraged us. And I think that's what stuck with me more than anything. For the last 30 years in the work that I've been a part of, I think about that all the time. Teamwork. How do we come together as a team to accomplish the goals that we've set for ourselves? In many ways, I was a point guard for most of my time playing basketball and at Rutgers. And I oftentimes think about that. I said, my job was to get the ball to the guy who had the hot hand, play great defense, be that encourager, as one of the co-captains. And in many ways, in the different stops I've had through the years, that experience as well has helped, I think, shape how I think about creating teams that are doing great things for young people in particular, and that's really been the work.
And I was going to say, you've dedicated so much of your career to helping young people, and why specifically helping young people? Do you harken back to yourself at those younger days and all the stresses you may have had and how you dealt with it? Because you're the CEO of Partnership to End Addiction. So what are some of the biggest challenges that families and communities are facing? And what do you bring from when you were younger to that?
Yeah, I know, absolutely. I mean, I think first of all, my Rutgers experience, I think along with my parents growing up were my biggest influences in the career path I've chosen. And it really has been this sense of encouragement to follow my passion and my purpose. And I remember, thinking back to my Rutgers days and the things my coaches, my professors, my mentors, and others did to help support me and encourage me and really build a sense of belonging and a real belief that I could, set whatever dreams I wanted to and accomplish them. And I don't think I realized it at the time, Ken, but looking back a few years later when I felt this pull to work with young people, I recognized that those experiences at Rutgers were very much, a big influence for the path that I've chosen. And for 30 years now, I've been working with some really terrific nonprofit organizations that are working with kids. And for me, it's been about creating opportunities for young people, education, housing, leadership, career pathways. But one of the things that has led to where I am now at Partnership to End Addiction has been this through line about the importance of helping young people to build the skills and the resilience and the network around them to be able to address mental health and substance use challenges. And that's the work we're doing at Partnership to End Addiction right now. And there really couldn't be a more important time to help empower parents, families, communities on what they need to know to help do the same thing for young people that I was able to get at Rutgers.
Yeah, for so many people, addiction is a coping mechanism. It's not the problem per se. Initially, it's the symptom of how they're dealing with a problem. And so there's so much, that's why it's so difficult, right, to help people oftentimes with addiction, and why so many people try and then fall again and fall again. But the idea of teaching them that you could be resilient, you could overcome it, and by dealing with those root problems, you could live a very healthful and good and positive life. That's so essential. What's a website if people want to get help, like with an organization as your own?
Yeah, so at Partnership to End Addiction, we're at drugfree.org. And so social media at Partnership to End Addiction. And Ken, I just want to emphasize what you talked about. It's addiction is a disease. It's a health issue. It's not a moral issue. It's a health issue. It affects 50 million Americans. And here's the point I just want to emphasize. 9 in 10 of those began using drugs or alcohol in their teenage years. Adolescent brain development, preventing it and treating it early is so important, but you need to know what to do. And that's exactly what we do at Partnership to End Addiction. We empower families, parents, professionals with the tools for preventing and treating addiction, because if you address it early, it's going to make all the difference in the world. And equipping young people with resilience and the skills they need to help navigate it on their own, so critical. And so if you have questions, please reach out to us. We 9 million parents we helped last year, and we're looking to grow that. And so that's in terms of impact, and that has great effect in terms of reducing rates of substance use disorder and promoting all kinds of healthy outcomes, which is really what it's all about.
Yeah, treat it like you would treat pneumonia, right? I mean, we're so silly that there's still a segment of our society that feels that it's a weakness. It's not a weakness. You got to treat it. It's an illness, and you got to treat it like you would treat any illness, and stop with the stigmas, for gosh sakes. Just treat it. One of the newest inductees into the Rutgers Hall of Distinguished Alumni, CEO of Partnership to End Addiction, Creighton Drury. Thank you for coming on this morning again. Congratulations to you. Well deserved.
Thanks so much, Ken. I appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you. 43 minutes past the hour. When we come back, as most AI companies are rushing to build massive data centers that gobble up lots of electricity, there's a California startup that decided small is better, and there's power in numbers. On New Jersey's brand and digital strategist Fisher will be here to explain when we come back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. 46 minutes past the hour, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Fresh back from the Mother's Day forecasting. Meteorologist Mike Favetta, we say happy Monday to you, sir.
Yes, Mother's Day forecast was a good one. If it wasn't, I'd still be hearing about it. But it worked out nicely, right? We had some great weather for Mom. Little rainy on Saturday, but nevertheless, yesterday cleared out beautifully. And there's warmer weather on the way for most of the East Coast right through the end of May. Look at this warm up that ensues as it takes over. Now, granted, there is a cooler than average period forecast, at least for the next 5 to 6 days. So plan on temperatures only in the 50s and 60s for afternoon highs, but I think we'll be well into the 80s, even as soon as Sunday. That big warm up in the long range trend really shows up on the 7-day, and you'll see that coming up in our next weather update with your New Jersey forecast. As far as the south, plan on some wet weather there, but ultimately drier conditions out east. And where that drought is still pretty bad and those wildfires are raging in Florida, well, the drought continues with an extreme and exceptional drought for most of the state of Florida, even through the panhandle. It should get better over time, though, with some rain at least forecast later on this weekend.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. We have 50 degrees in Trenton. It's 55 northern New Jersey to the west coast, 60 in Los Angeles, 60 also in San Diego right now. And we got a lot of traffic. Let's do the Route 3 cam if we can, Pam, first. There's a disabled vehicle now. This is Route 3 westbound east of Main Avenue, Clifton. Center lane of 3 lanes closed. We always say it's always the worst thing when the center lane is closed because it's hard for emergency vehicles to work. They have to take one of the side lanes to get there. So it always causes problems. So this is about a 2 to 3 mile delay, Main Avenue, making your way eastbound at this early hour. This is just east of Main Avenue in Clifton. We have a crash now in 440 southbound north of New Brunswick Avenue. That's in Perth Amboy. The right lane is closed. Look at this mess on Route 22. This is a crash investigation, Route 22, both directions, west of Watchung Avenue, North Plainfield, and this has been the case for well over an hour. Absolute bumper-to-bumper mess. Left lane of 3 lanes closed eastbound, but all lanes are closed westbound, and that's the westbound side you see on the right side of your screen. That's going to be that way for quite a while. It's the investigation of a very serious earlier accident. We have a utility pole down, Route 71, both directions south of Roosevelt Avenue, deal with all lanes closed, and your Hudson River approaches now that you approach from the Turnpike to the Holland Tunnel is going to cost you about 35 minutes in with 192 very heavy at this hour, 139 as well. And then the approach to the Lincoln Tunnel is a little bit better, 25 minutes in, and your GWB approach, upper and lower levels, moving but slow. Right now, we're down to about 40-minute crossover time, upper level on the right, lower on the left. You take a look at the West Coast. We have a collision reported. No injuries, though. Antelope Valley, and that's on Route 14 at Crown Valley Road. Baldwin Park, we have a crash on the 10 at Town Avenue on-ramp. And then in Antelope Valley, a second accident. This is on 165th Street by East Avenue. Those are your issues on the West Coast. 749 East Coast, 449 West. In a surprising twist that could reshape both housing and artificial intelligence, major home builder Pulte Group is teaming up with NVIDIA and a California startup to install, get this, mini data centers. We're talking like that big, in the backyards of brand new suburban homes. These compact, neighborhood-friendly units aim to deliver massive computing power without the massive warehouses that communities often don't want. NIMBYism. I don't want to see that big, ugly thing in my backyard. Joining us now with this topic and more is brand and digital strategist Fisher, who can be found on X and Threads with username @Fisher. Yes, Fisher pointed out for like 2 months I keep saying Twitter. Sorry about that, Fisher. It's X and Threads. Hey, listen,
Your show, man.
I'm just getting up to the Facebook. Don't worry about it. You can also find him with username @Fisher through his website, fisher.media. And if you just scream out in the backyard, he'll answer.
Yeah.
Good morning.
I show
Fisher.
up.
Yes,
It's amazing.
It's like
I just
Superman.
fly in. Yeah.
You got that red cape. It's cool.
I
So
do.
instead of fighting local town councils to get building permits and having to build literally mini nuclear power plants to get online, this startup has a brilliant concept. It's like bypass all that. Let's put a zillion mini AI centers the size of central air units in people's house or outside people's houses. Brilliant idea.
Yeah, Span is a startup and they make smart electrical panels, fantastic panels, great quality. I've been following them for years. And yeah, they're promoting these distributed data centers. Again, a network of small backyard units that collectively provide the computing power of a traditional large data center. They leverage the fact that American homes only use less than 40% of their electrical capacity, and Span is a smart electrical panel, so they know this, right? So they can avoid the need for major new grid infrastructure. And again, they partner with AI chip manufacturer NVIDIA, which is integrating its technology into the units to reduce noise and speed up AI development. The project aims, like you said, to bypass local opposition to massive warehouse-style data centers. Now, each of these units are about the size of a standard HVAC condenser, so not that bad. It's installed outdoors next to your actual AC units and electrical panels, and it tends to blend in with the landscape of the home. They claim 8,000 units, Span claims 8,000 units can be installed 6 times faster and 5 times lower cost than building a 100 megawatt centralized data center. Installations are free during new home construction. Span may actually pay the homeowner's electricity and internet bills for that usage for the distributed data center. It's already in a small number of communities at this point, over 100 home proof of concept with Pulte Group, and other builders are planning within the year, starting with new construction before retrofitting existing homes. It's really a great idea. Tesla is going to be rolling out this feature as well to use your Tesla car for distributed AI for Tesla. So, this is sort of the way to go and the way that the future might be.
So and brilliant concept. It's sort of like the way solar panels. If everybody has a solar panel, they put it into the system. You're contributing to the system individually, rather than having one solar power plant. If 1,000 houses have solar panels, it's kind of that concept. The only one drawback that I saw, and it's really a drawback for the company, it's not for everybody else. Those units are worth like $150,000, and there's a possibility in the middle of the night you get some jackass come and saw it all and try to steal it. That's the only
that would
and
be
it's the company. That's on the
sure.
company. It's not on you.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's quite the endeavor to try to steal basically the size of an AC condenser unit off somebody's house while they might be there or their neighbor. So yeah, and then the question that I have is if it's sharing my internet, how cut off from my internet are you, in the sense that you're not able to access? It's not possible. They're not going to do that. Like, they're not going to set it up that way. But it's the same thing how some cable companies have the Wi-Fi, and then they share the Wi-Fi with people that are driving by or in the neighborhood. So, and that always is a worry of well, can that person get onto my Wi-Fi? They can't, but still it kind of gives you a little hair raise on the arms there of like, I don't really want them sharing my internet. So I'm sure there'll be some questions about this, but it's really a great concept.
For those people that don't realize, years ago, when a lot of the Wi-Fi companies, the cable companies, when they first started pushing cell phone service, those cell phones weren't real cell phones per se. They didn't use cell towers. They used Wi-Fi as you drove past people's
Hmm.
houses. So, like for Cablevision in New York, because you used to
Hmm.
live near there, that's how their
And
first
work for them.
cell
Yeah.
service was. You worked for them. That's right, News
Yeah.
12. That was the way their cell service worked. It wasn't on a cell tower. It dealt with Wi-Fi at people's houses. So as you'd walk 2 blocks, you would lose your phone. Now it's different today, just
Mhm.
for fairness. They use cell towers. I think they use T-Mobile cell towers. And by the way, it's a very good deal.
Yeah.
But that's a different story. So this is fascinating. And I love the idea that it's telling all the local communities who show up in opposition to go take a walk,
Yeah.
because this is a perfect answer. Well, maybe this was needed all along, because you don't want to put all their eggs in one basket in one center that could go offline or something. When you scatter it, you also scatter the problems. I mean,
Absolutely. Both the internet
not having one
and the
place, right?
power. Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
a perfect situation for it.
absolutely, and they can get online so fast they don't have to wait. This is the brilliant
Right.
part, and I love that Pulte Homes has taken part. Great home builder. All right, shifting gears. A few weeks ago, we talked about the automobile kill switch, Big Brotherism run amok. And again, for those that don't know, we're talking about you get into your new car starting in 2027. This is what they
Hmm.
were forecasting, and it would read your eyes and try to detect whether you were incapable of driving, like if you had a couple of
Whether
drinks or
alcohol,
whatever.
drugs, or sleepy. Yeah.
Right. And I could see there's one side of it that's good because we do have field sobriety tests for alcohol. We don't have a field sobriety test for drugs. And this would sort of be the quasi field sobriety test for that. I get that. We don't want people driving under the influence. All right. The problem is there could be 1,001 other reasons why you don't pass the test, right? You could have an issue with your eyes. You
Or
could
just a
have
computer
sore neck.
issue. It could just be a simple software problem that prevents you from driving your car. Yeah,
It's a car
it's
you
definitely
bought.
Big Brother.
You
Correct.
bought, you're paying for tolls, you're paying for gas, and they tell, oh, you can't drive your car. Sorry, now you miss your appointment, you're late for work, etc. Total big brotherism. So talk about this kill switch. It may not make it now, right?
Right, and that's the thing, and that's the reason why I wanted to bring it up again, because Representative Thomas Massey of Kentucky, Scott Perry of Pennsylvania, Chip Roy of Texas, and others are pushing amendments. Now, some of the amendments, the Tommy Massey amendment back in January was defeated, but these other amendments are coming to the table, so it is worth you contacting your representative, both in the Senate and in the House, and express your disdain, if you do have that, for this rule and for this, this requirement for 2027. The mandate is still on track, although NHTSA, which is the governing body, has delayed the rulemaking. So the technology will be in your car, and I'm assuming that this will be able to be turned on via an over-the-air update. So you still have time to contact your representatives here in New Jersey and California and wherever else you might be watching and express your, whatever you feel about this. Definitely express it, because there is time to either support it or, just say, I don't want Big Brother in my car. And you do have representatives that would be on your side if you felt the latter.
Yeah, in fact, we only have 3 of our 12 Congress members in New Jersey, only 3 are Republicans, and 2 of them are wussing out already, and they're supporting this bill. Not the cutoff bill. They're supporting the Big Brother bill. They supported having the car cut off, and I love one of them, Jeff Van Drew's a good guy, but he wants the cutoff switch because this is a very purple blue state, and so he's worried about reelection, I'm guessing.
And another part and problem with the whole repealing it was that this bill is stuffed into a bigger bill. It's not on its own. So when you're saying no to this bill, you're actually saying no to 50 other things, which is Congress's kind of MO. So, you really have to express that you're not interested in this. Plus, the technology itself is going to increase the cost of a car, $150, $200 per car, because they have to put the technology, and the government's not going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it. So, so that's on top of the fact that then they can just decide, and then of course the conspiracy theorists are, well, during COVID, when they didn't want us to drive, can they turn your car off? No.
Yes, they could.
But could they? I mean,
no. Could they? Yes.
But it's not.
Here you go.
It's not a government. Let's put it out here. It's not a government-run thing. It's by each automaker. That's a big conspiracy. But I just want to clarify that. Yes,
let's just clarify.
Technically,
automakers who compete against each other suddenly cavorting together on something. I don't buy it. Don't buy it. Call me a conspiracy theorist. I call bullcrap. And all you do is you let them into your lives this much, and we saw what happened during COVID.
Absolutely.
You show up for a parking lot in your car at a church, and everybody gets arrested. Enough of this stuff. We should have learned from that. But nope, everybody wants to encroach on your personal rights. If I buy a car and I'm not hurting anyone, for the fragment of a percent of people who have addiction issues or whatever, the entirety of America has to suffer? No. On New Jersey's brand and digital strategist Fisher, who can be found on X and Threads, username @Fisher, through his website, fisher.media. Contact your representatives. Tell them we do not want the kill switch. Thanks for coming on this morning, Fisher. We'll see you next
Ken.
week. You bet. And for those of you watching on LACA on the West Coast, stay tuned for your local news. For those watching on New Jersey, we will be back live with local New Jersey news, opinion, weather, and traffic. Thanks for watching Morning with Ken Rosato. We'll be back in 2. Good morning, 8:02, Monday, May 11th, 2026. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Partly cloudy this morning and a little sun later. Highs low 60s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta. He's flipping on the cam right now, over in front. He's wearing his running shoes. He's getting all set with the computer, and here he is right now to tell us, Ken, you got my forecast wrong, Rosato. What is wrong with you?
No, I was so
Me
invested
weather.
in my no. I was very invested in an email. When I'm focused, even my wife says I make this face, and I'm just my focused face, and I was very focused on this email. And then Pam goes 5 seconds. I went and so just kind of like the Elmo, all scattered and brained, and that was me this morning. Kermit the Frog does that, I think. Anyway, good morning. Good morning. We're good now.
Hi.
We're good. We got some beautiful weather today after a little bit of rain fell. Even last night. Temperatures this morning start in the 50s, but with our air that's nice and cool, it'll feel damp early this morning, especially with a little bit of rain across southeastern parts of the state near the shore, with temperatures that are cooling down right now anywhere from 2 degrees cooler than this time yesterday. Notice the wind direction out of the north. It's a dry breeze that brings in a more pleasant feel for the northern sections of the state. But even as some rain fell last night, early this morning, there's some lingering clouds right now across the shore points. The clearing that's taking over right now, north and west of 287, beautiful through the rest of the day there. However, look at the rain that works its way down and continues as the storm offshore kind of intensifies and allows for that rain to keep falling south and east of the turnpike today. So while you're beautiful and sunny in the upper 60s there in northern New Jersey, especially through the lunch hour, it's raining down the shore, and it'll likely stay that way through the dinner time hour tonight. Then we head to the overnight hours. Light sprinkle comes in across northern New Jersey. We dip into the 40s overnight, so you may hear the heat click on. That's how chilly it'll be. 8 a.m. temperature up in Sussex tomorrow morning, 46 degrees, not exactly mid-May, and then we warm back into the upper 60s by the afternoon. Cooler at the coast with a little bit of a breeze coming in, but overall sunny all day long. Then by Wednesday morning, that's our rainy day. Likely see some wet weather in the forecast early on, and then we get a few breaks of sun, and then more rain comes in later on that evening. So Wednesday, a wet day, but it clears by Thursday with a mix of clouds and sun. And then we're just kind of stuck in this cloudy pattern throughout the day on Friday, keeping temperatures a little bit cooler. So as far as the forecast goes, we're beautiful and sunny and dry for the rest of the day today, northern New Jersey. The shore points will stay wet, and tomorrow is dry all day, but a little bit cooler with some rain in the forecast throughout the day on Wednesday, and then some spot showers in there by Thursday, Ken.
All right, thank you very much, Mike. We have 54 degrees northern New Jersey, 51 in Trenton, and we have a lot of issues on the roadways right now. Let's go to the Garden State Parkway. We have a crash on the GSP northbound just south of the Asbury Toll Plaza. Tinton Falls, all lanes open. You could see on the shoulder there, they're working on that issue. This is, again, a crash. Garden State Parkway northbound, south of Asbury Toll Plaza, Tinton Falls, all lanes open. Vehicles being worked on. You can see the flatbed taking that away right now. Issues now also on Route 71. There's a utility pulled down both directions south of Roosevelt Avenue down in Deal. All lanes are now closed on Route 71 in Deal as a result. Let's go to Route 1, US 1. We have a crash on US 1 southbound by Plainfield Avenue, Edison. Right lane of 3 lanes closed. Look at this absolute mess of traffic that it's causing. Just an absolute mess as a result. We have a problem on 440. We have a crash southbound north of New Brunswick Avenue, Perth Amboy. The right lane of 3 lanes closed. Over to Route 22, a problem that's been going on all morning long. There's a crash investigation. Route 22, both directions impacted. This is west of Watchung Avenue, North Plainfield. The left lane of 3 lanes closed eastbound. All lanes closed westbound. That's what you see on the right side of your screen. That's the westbound side. It's an absolute mess in North Plainfield. Avoid Route 22 at all costs. This is an absolute mess. That's going to be going on because that's an investigation of a serious accident. When they say serious accident, that involves somebody's life one way or the other. So just let them do their work, take a different route, and say, thank God, there but for the grace of God go I, and that'll help you think positive. Your approaches to the Hudson River, Lincoln and Holland right now, both 30 minutes into Manhattan, GWB upper and lower levels. About 40 minutes in, we look at the upper level on the right, lower level on the left, and you can see it's slow but moving into Manhattan at this hour. It is 7 minutes after 8, and Newark Mayor Ross Baraka announced the 2026 recipients of the Love Your Block Newark mini grant program on Friday. Residents received grants of up to $5,000 to make Newark's neighborhoods cleaner and greener. In all, 16 grants were given to neighborhood associations. Go Newark. A crazed ex-firefighter allegedly lost it after his now former girlfriend dumped him and was allegedly ready to take action when he drove 8 hours, allegedly intending to kill her family in South Toms River. That is according to court officials. 37-year-old Brian John Lanzim allegedly had 2 guns and a bullet-resistant vest when he drove from Bangor, Maine to New Jersey after the mother of his 2 kids broke up with him, and she filed, a temporary restraining order against him. Officials say Lanzim wanted to kill the family. This is the allegation from the court. He wanted to kill the family of his ex to get custody of his kids. His attorney says that he was actually trying to die by suicide by cop. That's when you do something in order to get the cops to shoot you, like they tell you to drop the gun and you don't, and then you charge toward them because you want them to kill you. That's what his attorney says. The former Toms River firefighter allegedly sent threats to his ex April 29th, letting her know that he was armed and coming after her. Prosecutors say he did show up. Police were waiting for him. He allegedly refused to drop his weapons. He was shot by police, but he is expected to recover. Lanzim's charged with attempted murder and lesser charges. Serious deal that is. Former firefighter there. The Supreme Court of Virginia struck down a redistricting referendum Friday that voters narrowly approved in a special election, ruling the Democratic lawmakers violated procedural rules when they referred a constitutional amendment to the ballot to create Virginia's new congressional map. The map, likely would have given Democrats 4 additional seats. In a 46-page opinion, the court found that the process by which the referendum reached the ballot did not comply with procedures, with constitutional requirements in Virginia. With the referendum struck down, the congressional map does not shift from the current layout, which favors Democrats 6-5. So Democrats still have the majority of the Congress seats in Virginia. It's just that they basically wanted all but one with the redistricting, and the state Supreme Court there says can't do it the way you did it. The latest from Virginia Democrat lawmakers suggests they will abolish the current state Supreme Court as a result and install a new court that they say would decide their way. Well, unfortunately for them, even if they could accomplish that before the midterm elections, it would likely violate the U.S. Constitution. So that will likely not happen. 8:10, and just weeks after Seattle's Democratic Socialist Mayor Katie Wilson laughed and said bye, as she was told that many of the state's millionaires might leave since the state imposed a 10% millionaires tax. One of the city's largest corporations announced that it was opening a second corporate hub in Nashville. Tennessee is significantly more friendly to companies than Washington State and does not have a millionaire's tax. Scores of Starbucks store locations in and around Seattle have already shuttered down. They said enough after Seattle announced that they would not clear homeless encampments in front of the cafe's locations, and the city imposed a tax to fund affordable housing and homeless services. They're taxing those businesses to pay for the homeless and the drug addicted. Starbucks has already converted its Seattle headquarters into homeless housing. You'd think that would be enough, but they announced enough is enough. They're shifting all of their operations to Nashville. The career criminal accused of fatally shoving a retired New York City teacher smiled in his first court appearance Saturday as he faced second-degree murder charges. Ramel Burke, who was arrested 4 times since February alone, stood with a smile on his face as he was arraigned for the random attack against retired teacher Ross Falzone. The 32-year-old Burke was taken to Bellevue Hospital in handcuffs Thursday as an emotionally disturbed person. He was released to the streets an hour later. And that very evening, the surveillance video shows Burke following that elderly man to the steps of the Chelsea subway station and shoving him down the stairs to his death, unprovoked. Just did it. This judge finally ordered Burke held until trial because he is a flight risk and poses a danger to society, clearly. And since the Spirit Airlines shutdown, many loyal customers can put their now unusable Spirit membership status to good use. Several airlines are offering status matches for elite members of the now defunct airline. Avelo is offering a no-cost status match for Spirit Savers Club members. Low-cost airline JetBlue also joining the status match party, offering free Spirit Silver and Gold members a status match for a limited time. And free Spirit Silver and Gold members can again get A-list status on Southwest Airlines through its match program. That's good news because I'm a Spirit Silver member myself. 8:12 right now. When we come back, New Jersey's film industry is having a major moment right now, but can we proclaim ourselves the new Hollywood just yet? There's a new documentary on that topic. We'll talk about it when we come back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:15, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Let's bring in meteorologist Mike Favetta with the full Garden State forecast. And Mike, just watching on some internal video that I got here of the NYPD the other day helping a woman who was, the NYPD, they have to do everything from helping mentally disturbed people, emotionally
Sure.
disturbed, drug addiction, car accidents, you name it. And they have to be trained in 1,000 different things. And then we never give them a break, it seems, ever. But apparently there was a woman who attempted to jump from a building. And there is
Mm.
this incredible body cam video of this one officer holding on. And she's okay. We could say she's okay. Holding on, like to the point that he has white knuckles. He is not. He's grabbing onto her
Wow.
hand for dear life. She's on the other side of this glass barricade. I am horrified. I think you are too of heights. I think, did
Yep.
you once tell me that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he is holding on for dear life because it's like
Wow.
he will not let her go. And she wants to go and he will not let her go. And amazingly, he got her, he talked to her calmly for like an hour and got her in.
Hmm.
Just to kudos to our NYPD, to the police all over the country who just don't get the pat on the back that they deserve for what they do on a daily basis. Just have to put
That's
that out
true.
there.
No, we love to share the good stories because so many times you hear the not so great stories. So the good ones significantly outweigh the bad, and another great example of that. We've got some great weather ahead this weekend. Beautiful skies this afternoon, unless you find yourself in central and southern New Jersey at the coast, where it stays kind of cloudy and gray today. But up in northern New Jersey, you'll be nice and sunny and dry, making it up into the mid-60s today, which is a few degrees shy of average. Look at the clouds and showers exiting earlier this morning, but the clouds kind of hanging on there at the beaches, and more rain is on the way for you. Some of that wet weather now crossing the Delaware Bay. So with all of this cloud cover that comes on in for the coast this afternoon, northern New Jersey stays nice and dry, and you can see that here with the Futurecast clearing out beautifully today. Tomorrow, even sunnier, staying clear all afternoon long with highs up in the mid 60s, 50s at the coast, and then 70s by Wednesday, but that'll be followed by some rain later Wednesday evening. I think the rain is a Wednesday evening into early Thursday morning deal with some spotty sprinkles into Friday. So it's kind of a wet finish to the week, but not a washout. There'll still be some opportunities for some clear sky. Look at what happens later on into Saturday and Sunday with some clouds that linger, but it still turns much warmer than usual by Monday into Tuesday of next week. So this warmer trend takes over into the next few days, especially by the end of the weekend into next week. And that longer range forecast has some nice warmth in it as well. So I think we kick off the 80s on Sunday with those temperatures well above average by the end of the weekend. And that'll set the stage for a warm up ahead into next week. Could be maybe rocking the 90s again within 2 weeks. It's coming up on the charts. We'll give you that 7-day forecast, Ken, in just a bit.
Well, considering 2 weeks ago we were having like freezing temperatures and having to bring in our tender plants, it's about time. I'll take 90s. Pam, our director, saying, shush, shush, shush. We will not take 90s, Kenneth. Ugh. All right. Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate you, sir. It is 57 degrees northern New Jersey, 52 degrees in Trenton. We have a lot of accidents right now, just a lot. I may be going faster than Pam could keep up. Pam, you want to start on the US 1 by Plainfield Avenue? All right, let's start with that. Pam's like, okay, I wasn't going to do that, but yeah, okay, you want that. So right now we have a problem. This has been going on for over an hour. There's a crash on US 1 southbound by Plainfield Ave and Edison. The right lane of 3 lanes is closed there. And this, yeah, you see the flashing lights there up at the on the right side. See that right there? So that is being dealt with. There was an earlier investigation as well, and that is still ongoing in that area. Now, about a mile away from this, we don't have a camera shot. We just let you know about it. We have a disabled vehicle. We have a crash rather, southbound by Plainfield Ave and Edison with the right lane of 3 lanes closed. So we have 2 different issues within a mile on Route 1 in Plainfield, or in the Plainfield Edison Avenue, just to let you know about that. Plainfield Avenue in Edison and Grandview Avenue in Edison, both on Route 1. So that's the problem we have. Jersey Turnpike crash northbound by the entrance ramp at Interchange 13, which is in Linden. Prior to the split for cars only, trucks, cars, where the 2 split with cars only on the right, trucks and cars on the left. So vehicles are moved to the right shoulder. Apparently somebody couldn't decide where to go. And you know what happens at the last second? They say, yeah, I'll cut across 14 lanes. And that's how you get into an accident. So that happened. We have a crash on the Garden State Parkway northbound south of exit 163, Route 17, Paramus, all lanes open. And that's being dealt with right now. And we have a crash investigation, US 22. So Route 22, both directions by Watchung Avenue North, Plainfield. This has been going on for 2 hours, bumper to bumper. The left lane of 3 lanes closed eastbound, all lanes closed westbound. That's the right side of your screen. So people are being detoured off. That's why it's moving so slowly. We have a utility pole down Route 71, both directions south of Roosevelt Avenue and Deal. All lanes are closed as a result there. And your Hudson River crossings, the approach to the Holland Tunnel right now is very, very heavy. It's going to cost you 40 minutes into Manhattan. The approach to the Lincoln Tunnel, there you go. You can see those cars on the right side just not moving. The cars on the left that are moving, by the way, are getting off on local roads in Jersey City, just so you know. That's why they were able to get by. The approach to the Lincoln Tunnel is actually much better, 25 minutes in, and your GWB upper and lower levels, upper level on the right of your screen, lower on the left, much better. The upper level is your best bet there. It's only 20 to 25 minutes in. Lower level on your left is going to be 25 to 30. It is 8:21, and shocking audio captured the moments when pilots aboard Frontier Airlines Flight 4345 struck an individual who ran onto the runway and in front of a speeding jet as it was trying to take off. The person was killed after being sucked into one of the jets. You'll see what happens here. Look at the screen. You'll see sparks. And that's terrifying because that's a person right there. That is what happened there. They don't know why this person was on the runway. And you could see the result of, afterward, everybody had to evacuate down the slides because when the jet engine catches fire, that's a fully loaded with fuel jet. And that engine fire could spread and you can have an explosion. So as a result, they want everybody off that jet as fast as possible. That's why they deploy the chutes, even if it seems like everything is innocuous, no problem. They got to get you off as fast as possible. They don't know why the person did this, but he climbed an 8-foot perimeter fence that had barbed wire on top. So he was trying to get in with a passion, but who knows? And that this is a big issue for security. Why was this person climbing a security fence, a perimeter fence, and running on the runway? So they have to investigate that. And was he the only person who got in that way? So they're going to have to check that out. That's Denver International Airport, Friday night into Saturday. It is 8:22. Los Angeles mayoral candidate Spencer Pratt showed a disturbing image of the city in a recent campaign video that points out what it's like to live in LA today with over 40,000 drug addicts wandering the streets. The clip features video of an LA block as it slowly zooms in on a homeless person and scattered garbage. Pratt's latest appeal to voters appeared to have an impact. His recent surge in popularity comes after a mayoral debate last week that viewers saw as a total win for the former reality TV star. During the debate, he confronted his liberal competitors who have said the homeless just need someone to offer them treatment.
The reality is no matter how many beds you give these people, they are on super meth. They are on fentanyl. The DEA statistic says 93% of this is a drug addiction problem. Nithya, Councilwoman Robbins' plan for treatment first, I will go below the Harbor Freeway tomorrow with her, and we can find some of these people she's going to offer treatment for. She's going to get stabbed in the neck. These people do not want a bed. They want fentanyl or super meth.
Well, the independent candidate Pratt has drawn praise as a serious candidate from powerful politicians on both sides of the aisle. Drug use is so tolerant in San Francisco that a shop in the downtown district has been accused of openly selling crystal meth and drug paraphernalia. Yeah, the locals say you could literally walk in and say, I'll take 2 grams of meth, and they just, like it's a pack of cigarettes. Here you go. After months of complaints, certain members of the city council, they couldn't get the prosecutors, the DA, to do damn squat about it. They just shrugged their shoulder and go, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? This is politicians run amok. They don't follow their own laws. They let the city turn into a disgrace, homeless, drug addicted, and now stores literally openly selling drugs. We're not talking like a little joint. We're talking crystal freaking meth. After months of complaints, certain members of the city council filed a lawsuit against the owners of that convenience store you saw. Citing the sale of meth and marijuana, locals complained the properties attracted criminal activity for years to the area. In fact, in the last 2 years alone, San Fran police responded to more than a dozen calls for vandalism, theft, and fights in and around the shop. Now, mind you, that doesn't mean there were only a dozen calls. There were hundreds of calls. Most of the time, the police say, we don't have anyone to send. Or if it's only some loitering person, we're not going to send anyone. So a dozen actually showed up and found open drug dealing and drug sales, etc. And during a recent raid, police seized nearly 50 grams of crystal meth, 5 pounds of marijuana, and a ghost gun. That was just one call. Residents say the shop is one of dozens around the city selling illegal drugs. This is what happens, by the way, when you have one party rule in a state. Nobody cares. Nobody cares because there are no consequences. And somebody's getting paid off. Somebody's getting paid off. A lot of people getting some money. Yes, I'm making the accusation. Go ahead and sue me. Somebody's getting paid off because why else would you not enforce your own laws? Why? I'm sure people who live there do not like open drug dealing and loitering and guns and stuff. They don't like, when I used to work for Channel 7, I used to go into low-income housing and talk to people. Everybody said the same thing. Tell them we're tired of it. Do something about it. But the prosecutors all say, no, it's unfair to prosecute these people. Really? Really? So let's just have open drug sales. This is what we've come down to. To the prosecutors in San Francisco, follow the laws that your local people, your local legislators have voted for, and that the mayor signed into law, and the governor, and the federal government. The Pentagon on Friday began releasing never-before-seen files relating to unidentified I knew I would do that. Anomalous phenomena. It used to be called UFOs. Now they're called UAPs. The government has been holding on to this info for decades. The files have been a source of intrigue for generations of people wondering if we are alone in the universe. The release came nearly a month after President Trump gave a preview of the possible contents, telling a gathering that there is some very interesting stuff that would be released by the Department of Defense or the Department of War. Since the release on Friday, the website received more than 300 million hits. If you want to check it out yourself, go to war.gov/UFO. I love it. I love how it's the Department of War and they're still calling it UFOs, not UAPs. Only the elitists call them UAPs in the Department of Defense. It is coming up on 8:30 right now. And when we return, we will have lots more news, traffic, weather. Don't go away. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings. We're back in 2. Good morning. It is Monday, May 11th, 2020, 654 degrees at 8:30. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast. What are we looking at, Mike? Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ken. We've got a beautiful day ahead if you find yourself in northern New Jersey. Southern New Jersey has mostly clouds and showers that return for the better part of the day, with the clouds hanging low there and that rain coming down from Atlantic City and Ocean City. Plan on using the umbrellas this afternoon. But as far as the rest of the state, a little bit of a drier northwesterly breeze, especially as that sun returns there in northern New Jersey. Gusts today, maybe up to 20 miles per hour, but the really windy part of the forecast happens on Wednesday, even with tomorrow's light breezes off of the ocean, bringing in some of those cooler, chilly ocean breezes by the afternoon, cooling you down. It's Wednesday with the south wind that could be gusting up to gale force at the coast, making it very windy as that rain comes in and that wet weather gets going, giving us some showers beginning Wednesday afternoon into the evening and into Thursday morning. That will help drop the pollen levels after a lot of tree pollen and a lot of grass pollen. Those have been running rather high. I think they return back to the high level. Even with our average high of 71 degrees, some places may make it into the 70s today, but we'll likely see that big warm up in about a week's time. So there are those lingering showers at the coast through the early part of this morning. Rain chances over the next few days kind of isolated into Wednesday afternoon and Thursday morning. And then we see those rain chances go down into the weekend, which is great news given how so much sun is forecast with that milder weather arriving as soon as Sunday. So here are those lingering showers today down the shore. The high pressure sneaks in tonight, giving us nothing but sunshine tomorrow, a really beautiful Tuesday. Then the rain comes back in by Wednesday afternoon, giving us some showers into Thursday morning. When that finally clears, we're not exactly clearing out into Thursday afternoon and Friday. There's still some lingering sprinkles, some spotty showers and clouds. It's Sunday that eventually sees that clearing, and then by Sunday afternoon, we're back to very warm weather. Check out the 7-day forecast. With the clear sky tomorrow, really our only totally sunny and dry day this week, because it's back to rain on Wednesday afternoon, lingering into Thursday with those showers. Friday is kind of a meh day, maybe mix of clouds and sun with a sprinkle, but this weekend sees a nice warming trend back into the 80s on Sunday, and that warmth even spreads down toward the coast. 70s at the beaches this weekend because of a dry northwesterly wind pushing away the cooler influence of the ocean air, which is still in the 50s this time of year. So lovely warm weather on the way, just in time for Memorial Day week as we head into next week.
I love how by the end of August, early September, the ocean temp
Mhm.
for most of you, not always, but most of the time is in our area is only upper 70s, maybe
Right.
80, maybe on a hot, like if we had an early hot
Sure.
spring, whatever. South Florida, nobody would put their toe in the water under 80, 81 degrees. Nobody. Because you could go
Yeah.
down, I mean, it never gets below like 74, 75, even
Mhm.
in January in South
Right.
Florida, in the water, I'm talking. And no, but you'd have to be somebody from like Norway visiting South Florida to be caught with your toe in the water at 74 degrees. It's so
Yeah.
the warmest ocean temperature here is one of the coldest ocean temperatures in Fort Lauderdale. I love it. All right, sir. I only pointed out because we are now on onfla.com, our new channel down there. So I'm sure the people are chuckling. Our ones of viewers on FLA because we haven't promoted it yet, so nobody knows that we're there yet until we talk about it. Mike, we'll check back with you, sir. Thank you very
You bet.
much, and that will change, by the way, because when we started on New Jersey, we had a small audience, and now we have 20,000 streams a day on this show. So there you go, and they're all here to see pictures of the baby, Michael. So we need
Oh,
new
I'm sure they
pictures
are.
of baby
Sure they are.
Enzo. I want to see. That's translation. I want to see new pictures of the baby.
I know you do. I
Mike's like, dude, I'm so tired right now. I can't even stand up.
know.
All right. All right. Mike, we'll check back in a little bit, but thanks so much. 8:34. Poor Mike. Oh, poor Mike and Steph with the two babies, two little ones. All right. We have a lot going on right now. Let's check it out. US 1, we have a crash. Look at that. As I said it, Pam, our director, they literally updated and took it away. So I'm not even going to talk about it. Let's go right to Route 22, shall we? Shall we? There's a crash investigation, Route 22, both directions, west of Watchung Avenue, North Plainfield. I'm throwing a curveball at Pam, so it's going to take a second. But this Route 22 crash, this is an absolute mess. Look at this mess. Crash investigation. So the crash was several hours back, and the investigation's been going on all morning long. The left lane of 3 lanes closed eastbound, all lanes closed westbound. Just an absolute mess. We have a crash on the Garden State Parkway, northbound, south of exit 163 Paramus. That's by Route 17. All lanes are open, though. We have a problem on the Jersey Turnpike northbound entrance ramp by interchange 13. That's in Linden prior to the split where the cars and trucks split. Right there, somebody was trying to get over apparently, and there was an accident. Route 71, utility pole down both directions south of Roosevelt Avenue and Deal. All lanes are currently closed there in your approaches to the Hudson River, the Holland Tunnel right now. Bumper to bumper, Route 139, making your way from the Turnpike. Look at that, just stopped to the Holland Tunnel. Lincoln Tunnel is only 25 to 30, and the GWB upper and lower levels, upper level on the right, lower on the left, actually not that bad this morning. It's only 25 to 30. The upper level there on the right with the trucks is moving pretty well. Usually this hour, that's a mess. 8:36, a new chapter unfolded at one of New Jersey's most iconic arts destinations as Paper Mill Playhouse expanded its experience beyond the stage with the grand opening of the newly reimagined F.M. Kirby Carriage House restaurant and event space. For the first time, the Millburn venue in the public 5 days a week, offering a blend of elevated dining, live piano nights, and even interactive murder mystery dinners. This is transforming Paper Mill into a true year-round destination to experience a great show and have a great dinner all under one roof. Mike Stotts is the executive director of Paper Mill Playhouse. We say good morning and welcome, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. Thanks for having me.
I always love when I hear your voice. I always say when I grow up, I want to have a voice like that. You have a great voice. So,
Thank you.
Mike, it's the truth. This, the amazing thing here is I know more and more people who live in New Jersey who are just tired of spending the money, doing the long drive into Manhattan, the traffic, spending $80 for parking, 250 for a restaurant, and then getting a ticket because they made a left turn where they shouldn't have, on and on and on to see a show that they've seen before for $400, yada yada yada. Paper Mill is iconic. You have people from Broadway, actors from Broadway, we all know, who come to Paper Mill. They act at Paper Mill. They say it is every bit as good as Broadway. It's the same quality, but it's right here. And now you have the restaurant under one roof.
Right.
Brilliant. How is this working out?
Well, so far so great. We've had it open for about a month now, and it's really taking off. We had a restaurant prior to this renovation and expansion, but it was much smaller and really was just an amenity to some of our subscribers. And with this expansion, we had about 4,000 square feet and created an event space that will allow us to do much more than just offering dinner prior to a show. It's a 100-seat event. The event space itself is called the Club Room. It's a 100-seat venue that we will be doing murder mysteries, like you said, cabaret performances, jazz. We will do lectures. We're able to rent it out for, bridal showers and bar mitzvahs and corporate business meetings. It's been set up to be a multifunctional room that can cater to all kinds of events. And it will enliven our Paper Mill campus in new ways that hadn't been imagined before. So it truly is a transformative expansion for us.
So this is truly a year-round entertainment space. You have all sorts of
Yes.
entertainment, dining, murder mystery. A friend of the show here, our friend Eric, who used to do travel for us on
hmm
New Jersey about a year ago. He left us because he started a murder mystery theater down in Orlando that he thought would do
hmm
okay. He can't keep up. He had to leave. He had to leave us. He can't keep up. He does some nights two different performances, and they're swamped. In fact, they're looking for a bigger space now. That's it's a very pop thing. It's a nice thing to do. It's something different. Couples from young to old are looking for something different, right? It's a perfect
I
idea.
don't think
Now,
it's anything that we ever would have imagined would have taken
mhm.
off at Paper Mill. We're known for the big musicals that we do on our main stage, and during the pandemic, we did some cabaret performances and things like that. But we started doing a couple of these murder mysteries in the prior restaurant, and they really did take off. They brought a whole new audience to Paper Mill. They're fun, they're interactive. Um, the theme changes from week to week. It's a wonderful company that we're partnering with called Without a Q, and they've got I don't know how many shows in their trove of shows, and we booked them for the next 3 weeks, and we'll be bringing them back over the summer months. It really is an enhancement to what Paper Mill has been doing all these years. And like I said, we're bringing new audiences to Paper Mill that might not have come to a musical, and they might not still come to a musical, but that's okay. Paper Mill is for everyone, whatever your interests are. And now we have an opportunity to expand our theatrical offerings.
Absolutely. Well, no matter what, whether Paper Mill brings people to the restaurant or the restaurant brings people to Paper Mill, it's all under one roof.
Right.
You can go and make it a one-stop shop. But the nice thing is you can go and get your free parking and then go in and enjoy a
Absolutely.
nice leisurely meal and then have a
hmm
wonderful show. You're talking, these are all like Broadway quality actors and a fantastic show without having to schlep into Manhattan, right here in New Jersey. And when you're done, you just get on the local roads and drive home. You don't have to go through a tunnel or a bridge or any of that stuff. It is fantastic. I used to live in Westchester County, New York, and we used to
hmm
have you may be familiar. It's closed now, so I'll mention the name. Unfortunately, it closed, but it was called the Westchester Broadway Theater, and it had been there
Yes.
for decades.
hmm
And that used to be my annual gift to my family. We'd all go out and they had dinner, Broadway actors, fantastic. It's just, I think they kind of ran their course. They had been around for decades,
Hmm.
and the newer owners kind of said enough. But
Yeah.
it used to pack every time I would go. People love this kind of entertainment, and Paper Mill never fails. So this is not a traditional night out. I'm so happy that you're blending this and you're bringing in all these new people. What shows you have coming up right now?
We're dark at the moment, but we will have West Side Story on our main stage, May 28th through June 28th. And in the restaurant, we do have murder mysteries. This week we have The Golden Girls, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. And next week we're doing something called A Cup of Ambition, which is a Dolly Parton event, a murder mystery event that is also being done by Without a Cue. So for all the nights that were typically dark in the on the main stage, we're hoping to have entertainment over in the carriage house in the club room.
I absolutely love it. And you guys are just iconic in the state of New Jersey. What's a website for more information, Mike?
Papermill.org. You'll find
Love it.
everything
Love it.
there.
Love it. Thank you for being the gem of theater
Mm.
in the state of New Jersey, and for attracting so many people and giving New Jersey something more for people who live here to have a wonderful life. Mike Stotts, Executive
Thank you,
Director of
Ken.
Paper Mill Playhouse in Millburn, truly a gem in New Jersey. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. Have a great day.
You bet. You too, Mike. Check out the murder mystery. If you haven't, just it's fun. It's fun. It's very goofy and fun in many cases, depending on the show. But they're really fun to do, and you're with your friends. A lot of times, like companies book 50 seats for all their employees, and it's a good bonding thing. You get together. Some of the murder mystery shows you get to predict the outcome. And you have a good dinner and whatever. You have fun. It's a goofy, fun thing to do together. It is now 55 degrees at 8:43 when we come back. Scammers are trying to separate seniors from their money. Our friends from AARP New Jersey will talk all about it. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:46. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has that Garden State forecast. Good morning, sir.
And what a beautiful forecast it is, Ken, heading into this afternoon and tomorrow, especially with all that sunny weather. The rain that comes in is predominantly forecast for Wednesday evening into Thursday morning, and we could get a good soaking, especially down where it's needed most, or toward Cape May, up to an inch there because you are bone dry. 17% of average rain has fallen in the last 30 days. You're at a 1 to 2 inch rainfall deficit. All these areas, in fact, shaded in red, and even with that, the drought is it's at its worst with a severe drought now across southern New Jersey. The rest of the state is moderately dry, but we'll likely see that rain return, helping the cause by Wednesday evening. The northern part of the state today featuring the clear sky this morning, tapping into some clouds again this afternoon. So gradual clearing, but as far as the rain is concerned, into the third week of May, likely see average chances of rainfall. It's the warm up that we're excited about, with those temperatures well above average heading into the last week of May. It may even start as soon as Sunday, with highs climbing all the way up into the 80s and staying there into the week beyond. You first have to get through the cooler day tomorrow. Granted, it'll be sunny all day, and then the wet weather that takes over on Wednesday and Thursday. It's predominantly Wednesday afternoon into the evening, lasting into Thursday morning, and then Friday is still kind of cloudy as those temperatures moderate into the 70s. But not only will the northern locations enjoy all of that sunny, warm weather, it'll still be warm at the beaches with a pretty strong northwesterly wind, keeping away any of that chilly sea breeze, Ken, this time of year. So great weather ahead into next weekend.
Looking forward to it. All right, meteorologist Mike Favetta, enjoy your day, sir. Thank you,
too.
sir. It is 55 degrees northern New Jersey, 51 in Trenton, and this segment is presented by our good friends at AARP New Jersey. As New Jersey works to protect some of its most vulnerable residents, oversight and accountability in long-term care facilities remain a critical priority. The Office of the State Comptroller plays a key role in investigating fraud, ensuring transparency, and safeguarding taxpayer dollars, especially when it comes to Medicaid-funded services. Medicaid money is such a big chunk of the state budget. Joining us now are New Jersey Comptroller Shirley Emahelu and Josh Lickblau, who's director of the Medicaid Fraud Division, to discuss how their office is working to protect seniors and strengthen trust in the system. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Ken.
And I said Emahelu, it's Emahelu, right?
That is perfect.
All right. And I practiced it too. I'm sorry I made a mistake going in initially. Shirley, please tell us the role of the comptroller in New Jersey, because I think a lot of people hear it and they say they've heard it pronounced controller, comptroller. Tell us what a controller does, and it's all about the bucks, right?
That's absolutely right. And it is comptroller with a P. Our role at a high level is to protect New Jersey taxpayer dollars. We ensure that taxpayer dollars are spent as they're supposed to be. That is efficiently, transparently, and in the best interests of the public. We do that through our investigations, our contract reviews, our audits, and we identify any red flags that may be occurring to make sure that any unusual spending inconsistencies are addressed. And we do this really to promote transparency, to promote accountability, and to build trust in our governmental systems.
So when your office comes knocking, that's when we should be shaking in our boots. So we don't want to be. But if you're just honest and you take care of your books the right way, you don't have to worry about it, right?
That's absolutely correct. Certainly we are an oversight agency, and we, take our work very seriously. But we are often collaborating with our governmental entities that we are auditing or investigating, really to help them reach compliance. We are not just here to be a boogeyman of sorts. We really are endeavoring to help to make sure our governmental entities are working as they're supposed to be, and to make sure that the Medicaid program that is administered by the state is being operating thoroughly, effectively, efficiently, and that providers are not abusing the Medicaid program and obtaining reimbursements that they are not entitled to. So we certainly take our role very seriously. But again, our endeavor is to make sure that we are moving toward compliance, and we are often doing that in a collaborative but very serious fashion.
And of course, Shirley gave us the perfect segue there because we have our Medicaid person right here. So thank you for that, Shirley. Josh, what is the mission of the Medicaid Fraud Division? And Medicaid, I think a lot of people don't realize what percentage of the state budget goes to Medicaid. Isn't it close to half? It's like 40 something percent.
It's the second largest expenditure in our state budget behind education. The state overall, in total, with federal and state dollars, spends over 26 billion with a B dollars on the Medicaid program, which covers about 1.8 million residents of the state. Almost half the children in New Jersey are on Medicaid. It is a very large program, and our role is essentially the watchdog of the program. As Shirley was saying, we guard the fisc of the program, so we make sure that the money is spent effectively and appropriately as it's supposed to be spent. We audit, investigate providers, Medicaid providers, among many other things, and we work to improve the oversight of the Medicaid program, which is essentially a joint venture between the state and managed care organizations, insurance companies, which provide the networks for the Medicaid beneficiaries.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about billions and billions of dollars, the opportunity for somebody to cheat the system is so there, and that's why it is so essential to have you, Shirley, and you, Josh, there to make sure, and your agencies, your respective agencies, to make sure that people stay on the straight and narrow, because the temptation is there, I'm sure, for many people. Although we have 99%, thankfully, of our medical providers who are as honest as the day is long, and then you get those few just double bill this, double bill that, they'll never notice. And they do that to the tune of millions of dollars. So surely transparency you talked about is so essential, specifically now in nursing homes and long-term care facilities. That's really important, isn't it?
Absolutely, and that's been one of our focus areas in the past couple years. It's a very important area. My father himself, before he passed away, spent time in a nursing home, and really, the public is trusting these facilities to take care of their loved ones, sometimes at end of stage of life or through a medical crisis. And so we are working hard every day to make sure that nursing homes are providing care that is sufficient to meet the needs of the residents, that they are not cutting corners through understaffing, through inappropriate billings to basically profiteer off the Medicaid program at the expense of nursing home residents. Now, obviously there are bad apples. There are also good apples, many so, in the nursing home industry, but we really want to make sure that those facilities that are not meeting the needs of their residents, while at the same time profiting from the Medicaid program, that we are going after them, that we are seeking recoupments of Medicaid payments, that we are seeking penalties where appropriate. And Josh can tell you more about our successes, but I believe to date we've recouped over $100 million for the Medicaid program. And that goes back not just to the federal government, but also to the state. So we are also preserving important state dollars.
That's amazing. And we're down to our last minute, but I definitely have to bring Josh in on that. Some of the warning signs that people need to look out for when it comes to potential fraud, Josh.
Well, in a nursing home setting, I think the easiest or the most apparent warning sign would be low staffing, high turnover in staffing. If you or a loved one is in a nursing home and you see that care is not being given in a timely way, that's a warning sign of a major problem. There's a long-term care ombudsman who's essentially an advocate for residents who's available to help in those situations. Our office is available as well. But I think that the easiest warning sign, the quickest one to see, is a low staffing. So if you're visiting someone in a nursing home and you see that staff is overwhelmed, there's not nearly enough people to address the needs of the residents, that's a big problem.
And that is a big deal. And having an 88 and 95-year-old parents right now who have been in nursing homes recently for rehab, I've witnessed it firsthand, and I know exactly what you're talking about. Two different nursing homes, totally different. One had lots of staff, one had none. And I heard all the rumors about the one that had none. So I appreciate you both. New Jersey is very lucky to have you both keeping an eye on things. We appreciate you. We'd love to have you back. Again, the website for AARP is aarp.org/New Jersey/NJ. New Jersey Comptroller, and that's Comptroller, Shirley Emahelu, and Director of Medicaid Fraud Division, Josh Lichtblau. Thank you both for coming on this morning, and thank you both for what you do. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
You bet. And that is on New Jersey Mornings for your Monday. Yes, we made it through Monday. Meteorologist Mike Favetta says partly cloudy this morning, becoming mostly cloudy later, especially a chance of showers way down south, south central. Highs about 61 degrees. It is Monday, May 11th, 2026. I'm Ken Rosato. Stream is j.com, ONFLA. Roku, 5e, News On, Samsung TV Plus, YouTube, Apple TV, Facebook X. We stream live on Substack, Rumble, Twitch, and Local Now. Every day we're on from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. live. Repeat from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Got to think about that. Tell all your friends about us. Have a great day. See you at 7 a.m. tomorrow.